been a while since I've filmed anything, and I don't want to say slammed in the past week and a half, but things went a little crunchier. Things have been crunchier this past week and a half. I'm going to tell stories first. Let's tell some stories first. So the other day, this was a funny one for me. The other day, I left the house to go to the grocery store, and I hadn't left the house probably for a few days. Maybe a week, who knows. But anyways, it had been a while, and it was a nice day. The weather kind of turned this week for a bit, and it was nice. I got on my bike and was kind of feeling like, ooh, nice being outside, you know. And I get to the angle, the corner, like really, like, I don't know, a few feet from where I actually live. Wasn't quite paying attention because, the streets are fairly trafficless at this point, and was starting to go across the zebra, the crosswalk, and a car honked at me, and it was like, oh shit, because I was actually going against the light. It was not my turn, and it was sort of like, oh shit, obvious mistake. And then the guy just starts yelling at me, and he's like screaming at me from the car, and I had like mask on, and I was kind of just like, in my brain I was perplexed because I was sort of like, what, like, I mean, this happens, we do this, people do this. And I wasn't trying to start anything, and I wasn't like particularly angry, but I was just like, cosa, like, what, like, and he's screaming at me through this car, and he's like, merda, which basically is like shit, you piece of shit. And I kind of was still just like, merda, like, in my brain I want to be like, what is your problem? Like, it was an act, like, relax. Anyways, so I was just like, merda, and this guy gets out of his car and I was kind of like, and I've told this story obviously to some other people, and I have to say what was going on in my head was like, I was kind of laughing because one part of me was like, really, you're gonna like beat me up? You're gonna beat up this, I look like a fucking 15-year-old girl, I'm just like, I'm little, I look little, and I was like, oh, so you're gonna do, beat me up or something? And like, but I wasn't riled up, but I was just kind of like on the inside laughing. But at the same time, one part was like, okay, bring it on, because I have been in some tussles in my life. Trust me, I'm small, but I've been attacked. I've been like, people have broken into my house and tried to fucking rape me, and I fought them off, or him. It wasn't them. And I've had other encounters, and so I don't start fights, but I will go there if necessary. But anyways, I was not going there, but then all of a sudden all these other like people at the bus stop start coming up, like coming to defend me, and I start fighting. Then I'm just like, okay, this is not how this should be going, and like, this is not the time in life right now that this should be happening. So then all of a sudden these two guys are just like fighting with each other, and I'm just like, ah. And it's like, basta, la copa es la mia. It's like, just stop. It's my fault. It's my fault. It's cool. It's my fault. It's just stop, you guys. It's like, no big deal. And they just kept fighting. And I just like, okay, this has nothing to do with me at this point. So I continued on my bike and went off to the supermarket. But I was also just, afterwards I was just kind of contemplating, like, why did that even happen at first? And I was like, and I was like, because part of it too is, I think the guy was yelling at me. I don't know, because he missed the green light or something, and I'm just like, my guess is you're not late. You're not late to anything at the moment. And if so, there's no traffic. It's not, and then also when he got stuck in the fight with the other guy, the light turned like one or two times. It went through the cycle. So it was just like, but in reality, I just figured that people are stressed out right now, and it's like, it's coming out in different ways, and you need it to come out because maybe you're powerless we're powerless over what's happening right now, and like in these small moments, whether just like it's our sense of control or just it's how to get something out. And for that, I could understand. And then another thought came to my head about if he's at home. I don't know what kind of situation he's in, if he's stuck in a house and there's other people, and like, but if he could get that anger out on me by yelling at me instead of doing it or hitting someone at home or like yelling at them, then I'm here for you, man. But yeah, that was an interesting experience. And what else? So I'm adding something in here, which is, so like yesterday, a friend asked me here in Torino. She's like, "Oh, where would you be right now? Like, if you could be anywhere, where would you be?" And I think it was alluding to the fact that everyone's lives had just kind of like stopped, and life was completely different. How you looked at it, and you know, how are we determining our lives and deciding what's pushing us to make certain decisions. And I said, I go, well, here, because I'm still trying to deal with my permesso di soggiorno, which is my visa, and I've been trying to deal with this as a visa conversion since last October. And yeah, it's just been this sort of Italian, like, bureaucratic labyrinth, like the norm, but it's, yeah. So since October, and the funny thing is with the, that was March. March is when we got the lockdown, March 9th, I think. And ironically, it sort of stabilized me more because I didn't know where I was going to be living in April and May, because where I'm living now is with a friend who originally I said, I was September to December, because I just needed to deal with this visa and be here, and he's kind of, likes to live by himself or just have a flatmate every few months, kind of mix it up. And I had to keep asking him for like another month, promising, oh no, it's gonna be done by this time. And so we were still needed to talk, but theoretically I was supposed to be gone at the end of March. So the thing is, the lockdown happened, and so now I'm stabilized for now in terms of a place to live. And also because, for those of you who don't know, I've actually been living out of my suitcases, if you will, for about a year and a half. And that's, a lot of people previously kept asking me, oh, are you still in Torino? Are you coming back to Berlin? Where are you going to next? And I was like, it's like I couldn't get out of Torino because this visa situation just kept me here. And then now there's this lockdown that continues to keep me here. But that's pretty humorous about that. I will say another part, though, the crunchy part, if you will, had to do with, I got hit with homesickness for a couple days. I wonder if I still am, because maybe I'll start crying a little bit. But I have, it's an interesting personality, because I don't get as homesick as I think a lot of other people do, or not that I don't get lonely. That's gonna be a nice other video, I think, sometime. But that I don't miss people and things as much as maybe other people do, and that could be a number of reasons, but I guess positive and negative. But anyways, so when it does come, it's significant. So I had been thinking the other week, not that I was thinking of going to the U.S. There's nothing in my brain right now. I was like, oh, I want to go to the U.S. But it was just more like kind of seeing how this thing's going to last a while. The sussing out, if you will, of how things will unfold in the societies. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I can get back into the U.S. since I'm a citizen. But I was like, will they let me back into Italy? And yeah, I think that essentially the answer would be yes. I don't know, because that's also something in the future, and that has to do more with like, a lot of airlines have the fleets have been grounded and there's not as many flights and blah blah blah, so all that stuff. But it made me think that yeah, I don't know, it's been a year. I actually, in the calendar, I was in the US um, I, last time of this year, and I usually visit around every year and a half, so I'm still within the time frame. But obviously there's some more emotional components going on with it. But part of the homesickness, which is like, sounds so, it's so funny because this is what it is. I'm gonna start crying, so there you have it. Is the three things that kind of like triggered it were seeing all these masks that people were making, and just that sort of like that. It was okay. First is the mask, and then it was puzzles. Seeing everybody making like doing puzzles, and then the third was seeing what people were eating in quarantine. And I guess what it was more like, it was, I guess, like the missing of my culture. That so I mean, a lot of times I'm really glad I don't like being inside like American culture that much for a lot of reasons. But there's just certain things sometimes when I you don't, yeah, you just sometimes miss those elements about the way. I can't explain it. People don't do parlor games here, or like board games, or like, I don't know, just not the way in like the States that they do. And then just everyone like getting on top of it, making these masks and sharing. And I don't think I know a single person of my friends in Torino who has made a mask. I know one girl in Rome, but she's not even Italian. So and yeah, I know it sounds so weird. And the food part was really it wasn't. I think it just has to do with part of my sense of uprootedness, and I don't have my own kitchen where I have all my weapons and tools and things, fermenting and sprouting and whatnot. That I was seeing all these people in quarantine having things like fermented beets on their, tacos and hot sauce, and it was just these things that I can't get, at least not the way I prefer, which is in the more bio organic vein. I can't get them here, so either I bring them back from the US, or I started making them for myself in the past, but I haven't been able to do anything like that for over a year and a half, and just like not in the mood to cook, and just wanting something like that. And that even when we aren't in quarantine, it's not as easy for me to get. But that even in quarantine, that all these friends in the States could still have this food and just have it. And I was like, I guess that's more comfort food, believe it or not, than like pizza, and that I was sort of just missing that. So yeah, last week was some homesickness going on. And yeah, that form of connection with culture and language, because even here still, my Italian's not bad, but I'm not at, it's still not something I can just like hop in and out of, make jokes all the time, and really get in like these groups and stuff like that. So that it took a while. It always takes me a little bit longer. Probably, so it took like 6 or 7 weeks into this lockdown before that part hit me. But it's always bound to come. A friend of mine, when I first moved into Torino, and for the months, I mean, actually everyone when I first came was sort of like, "Don't you miss your family? Don't you miss your family? Don't you miss your friends?" And I was like, "No, like I'm good," because I'm, like I said, I'm quite a hermit, and I get quite internal about things. And but yeah, there always comes a moment where, of course, I do. Takes longer, but it happens, and so that's been something. But it's okay. So I've just been reaching out more to people, and I think that helps. And so I'm like everyone else, just reaching out more to people. I'll just leave it at that.